women in every choice that they make.
100%.
But there are also women that will say, okay, she's working, she's got 2 jobs, she's an entrepreneur, she's a child, she's this, I need to be better. And because of that, there is hate. There's hate, there's jealousy, there's pettiness.
At one point, you have to pick your battles, right? You can't keep fighting with every second person and being like, okay, no, this is what I believe in and you have to follow it. Because at points when you keep going that way, you're just going to frustrate yourself.
But how this comes so easily to men? Like we don't see it to be a struggle. When a man opens another business, we'll see the men going for it and like, you know, he's done it and we're so proud of it. And the minute a woman opens a business, how did she do it? How is she managing it?
When I dress up, I feel confident, I feel happy, I feel that I'm ready to go for the day. I feel more energetic, I feel happy, and I'll do things which I feel like doing and I want to do and not for you.
What is your definition of a friendship?
So, someone who's going to be there for you no matter what, a good day, a bad day, is your person, your go-to person, non-judgmental, you can vent to, and as well as have a great laugh with. I think that's just basic.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, what we look for in a person, that our go-to person when we really require it. And if we had to describe a female friendship and a male friendship, would you have a separate description for it? So how we spoke that we have a very interesting topic to discuss today, and that is primarily being female friendships. So we keep hearing very often that male friendships are stronger than female bonds, and we kind of have a lot of bad light that is shed on female friendships. So I wanted to discuss that with these amazing panel of women over here. Now, there must be some truth to it. There must be some, lies about it. So let's delve into everything and see how it goes. So I have met these girls before, but Aanchal, I'm meeting you for the first time today. So let's begin by, asking you, what is your definition of a friendship?
So, someone who's going to be there for you no matter what, a good day, a bad day, is your person, your go-to person, non-judgmental, you can vent to, and as well as have a great laugh with. I think that's just basic.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, what we look for in a person, that our go-to person when we really require it. And if we had to describe a female friendship and a male friendship, would you have a separate description for it?
I think sometimes when you go to your girls, it's more emotional driven, and sometimes when it's with me, with my guy friends, sometimes it's like I want to leave my brains behind and just have a laugh. That's the boys usually, no sense. But with the girls, there's always some amount of emotional connect that I feel.
Yeah, that's very true. I think girls do connect with your emotions a little more than the men do. But Sophie, let me get to you, because you've been blogging, you're an influencer. So your life is perpetually out there.
Yes.
And I think when we receive love, we receive a lot of love from women as well. But when the hate hits, it's generally the women that start the hate. Because I think it's easier to comment on another woman as well as a woman, because of course the men are a little more scared, I would say, or they wouldn't, a little more held back when it's things to say about a woman, but a woman would just go for it. So do you think like a female friendship does have jealousy, can get petty, catty?
I think it does get to that, but I guess we're at a stage in life that we've gone through that and things have like evolved and stuff. But initially, as a teenager, when you're actually finding yourself, I don't blame them that much, because they are also finding themselves and they don't know, the hormones are going all over and they don't know how they have to react and stuff like that. So I think earlier in your age, you go through that a little more. But then actually, to be honest, initially when I was growing up and during my teenage, I had more guy friends than girlfriends. In school also, I had like 10 best friends, all guys, maybe one female friend. But then eventually it just circles back to going back to your girls and stuff like that. But also I think for me, my mom is my best friend. So I think, I would not seek it outside so much.
Yes.
But then now if you see, I have more girlfriends and girl gang and, girl power together, support for each other. And coming back to your commenting part, I think we all go through that, and I guess some things you just need to ignore and go forward. But I've learned that over the years. initially I would be like, how dare you say this, you don't understand. But now I'm just like, it's fine, God bless you, hope you feel better soon, and then you move on from there. Maybe they are going through something that they are putting it out there. So, maybe they need help, but they can't ask for it. But then you figure out and you ignore, I guess.
Yeah, but I do get it. When we comment, it's always a projection of our insecurities and what we are feeling. But like I said, that when we do see social media, the pettiest of comments will generally come for women. And why do you think that is what comes primarily for women? Because people project, like men and women. But
It's mostly societal, Chahat. I guess it's so deep rooted that even if they want to change, they are in that process. So that process to like start and ignite and like to get somewhere, it's becoming a bigger process. So hence it's taking a longer time. But I still feel like it's changing, and I'm hoping it will change more. I'm like also like very positive in life. So I'm just like, no, it'll happen. It will take time, but it'll happen. But I guess it's societal. I think the mothers have to tell their sons what they have to do. And then I think from there, everything will change.
very true. And we've been girlfriends for very, very long. And I think I couldn't imagine my life without you all, because we do have that really strong friendship and we have that really strong bond. We do. And I think every time when people look at it from an outside perspective, and I would like to ask you this, Irisha, there are always comments to the way our friendships is flowing. And again, it comes from women. I think men wouldn't really comment on the terms of friendship.
True.
There have been times that because both of us have such busy careers, we've not met for a while.
Right.
And there were, oh, have you all fought? Has something happened? We've had this conversation.
Yes.
Why do you think it's stemming from women that they really want to jump to a conclusion and be petty? Oh, they must have fought, and like it's gossip.
I think it comes from the same place where masala TV and drama TV is made. Everybody's looking for the next inside goss, the next story, the next whatever, which is maybe not as realistic as the news, or not as like docu-series, or no one wants. That's not really a fun conversation. That's not really a fun thought for anybody, because then that's facts.
Yeah.
These are speculations, which are a little more fun because then your brain works a little overtime. And unfortunately, we come from that conditioning space, which is oh ye to aisi hi hai, padosi kya kar raha hai, and silly things like that, I suppose, which is I think I would like to say that any of this or all of this conversation would come to an end if someone had a constructive use of their own time.
Exactly. Very true. If you're busy, you won't get into all that because you don't have the time.
Very true.
Very true. I get that. But, I know men that are not busy. And, there's a new term that we hear called bed rotting. And that's primarily applied to a lot of men because they just want to stay in bed all day long. But we generally don't see them getting catty. Of course, they will have comments, they will have gossip, they will discuss their friends. And I've seen that quite often. Now, you're saying that it does stem from the way we've been brought up, also the societal construct. But aren't we also living under the same roof as our brothers, I would say? Aren't we in the same society as them? So why do we see that somewhere male friendships are like ride or die, but it's not so much so with women. We do see that. So why do you think that there's that difference, even though we have been brought up in the same space, but we still have that difference in our way we deal with things?
Interesting
Why do you think that's happening?
Honestly, I think, again, it's kind of rooted in the fact that men do business together, men have conversations, men have discussions.
It's like that brotherly.
It's like the fraternity, and there's always, you hear about the fraternity of the thing. And sisterhood is now being used as a constructive thing, as a positive thing. But before that, it was always like, oh, how can I be better? How can I be more pretty? How can I be smarter? How can I dress better? Because it was always put forth for us as women as a competition.
Yeah.
And not as a, let's do this together. I love that movie, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yes.
Because that's what a female friendship should feel like, warm, fuzzy, be yourself, no judgment, like you said. I think it comes from being secure yourself and to be able to find like your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes.
I'm sure that not everybody can be friends with each other, which is okay. So I think it's really nice to be able to find the people that you vibe with.
Yes.
And there's no hard and fast rule of being a certain way. But honestly, I think we're still coming to terms with that right now because it's a very competitive world and we've always been pitted against each other
Yes.
as women somehow, and men is more like a bro code. We don't have a bro code version in the girl world
Girl dynamic.
yet.
Yeah.
I think we can change that.
I think Call Me Bae brought it up with hashtag Behen Code. Yeah. So that was a nice twist that did come out of that for sure. Yeah.
Just adding to what you were saying, pitching against each other. I don't have a sibling, but people who do, I've seen even sisters,
Yeah.
real sisters, not having to be like getting along together and having that competition. I think parents also seep it in somewhere. Oh, she is more pretty, and she is more good in studies, or she is doing better at this. So I guess that thing gets instilled from the very beginning. So I always come back to this parenthood because that is so important. It leaves a mark while you're growing up. So
Yeah.
See, and I think it's a very Indian Asian thing because we are always seeking excellence.
Yeah.
So to
have to
pit,
be best
have
at
to be
everything.
best. Matlab, ye achhe, Sharma ji ka beta, Sharma ji ki beti is, is such a comparative study.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know that we're changing the thought now a little bit. Like the movement has already begun, where even parents are understanding that's not maybe a healthy way to get someone to excel.
Very
This
true.
competition internally, not the greatest idea. And let people choose their path, let them become the best version of themselves that they can be. I think we'll see a shift.
I think we are seeing a shift.
Yes.
We are on the path, like you said. But like we were talking about when you were talking about, that oh, she's more pretty or she's more successful, it's a conversation that we hear quite often. And Aanchal, you're an entrepreneur yourself. So what is your take on, people commenting not on your hard work? Because that's very, very often but commenting on how successful you are, how attractive you are, how you dress. Because when women are working, I think women will generally talk about another woman in terms of not how hardworking she is, but oh, wo to sundar hai, uske paas to client aayega hi. And these things that pull another person down. Have you faced it? And if you have, how have you navigated?
I have a lot where a lot of people think that, oh, she looks a certain way, so she's successful, or she just looks that way and she internally isn't that way. It's happened a lot. There have also been a lot of people, especially men, who've been like, oh, we'll order from her because we get to talk to her, and other people have commented, oh, that's why she's successful.
Wow.
Which is, it was very difficult hearing about it the first couple of times, and it made me really question myself and be like, okay, is that what is where it's coming from, and is that how it is? And I did talk to a lot of my close friends about it as well, and it gave me a lot of sleepless nights. And I think one of my closest friends, who is my best friend, she's a girl, and she and I had this conversation. She's also a really, really pretty looking girl. She's a successful CA. You know her. And she told me, she's like, why do you give a shit about what anyone says? Cut it all out, concentrate on your work. These comments are going to come irrespective of anything, but you know your worth, you know the amount of hard work you put into it. And like we were discussing right before we started, sometimes you just need to hear it back from someone you really love and care for, and when they believe in you, that gives you more confidence as well. So for me now, I'm at a point where I'm like, jo bolna hai bolo. I know my truth, I can hold my own, so screw you in short.
that's the best.
Yeah, but do you
attitude
think should we leave it at screw you? But we as women have been kind of told that, oh, you're too pretty or you're dressing too well. when you're even comfortable in your own skin. And I think I would like to ask Sophie this question, because she's always, our work demands it to look presentable at a certain time. And we always have comments like saying, oh, she always has to dress up and come, and what is this? She can't step out of the house. It's not a fashion show all the time. We hear that so often.
Yes, hands down.
Are we supposed to apologize for the way we want to dress up? Are we supposed to be apologetic of looking the way we do?
That thought comes from people who are not dressing up themselves. Let me tell you the truth. And anytime they see someone else, they're like, oh, why is she dressed up? I'm like, I'm not dressing up for you guys. It's for myself. When I dress up, I feel confident. I feel happy. I feel like I'm ready to go for the day. I feel more energetic. I feel happy. And I'll do things which I feel like doing and I want to do, and not for you. So if you are feeling like that and you like to underdress or not dress or whatever is your vibe, I'm not judging you. Why do you have to judge me? And even if, like sometimes I'm just like, I'm not going to give you back. And sometimes I'm like, oh babe, you've got me on the wrong time. Sorry, now you're going to listen back to me. So it depends on what mood I am in. And sometimes I'm just like, you know what, you need help. I'll help you dress up better. If you think that you can't do it, I can do it for you. And it's not that difficult. Just do what you feel like doing. But then don't judge others who are dressing up. But then that happens online as well as offline. And now it's like, oh, she always dresses up. I'm like, yeah, like that's my vibe. Like if you do not like it, do not, like you don't have to always be in like in good books of someone. You can stay away. It's fine.
But I've realized that the compliments will pour in from the men when you dress up.
100%.
But the women will have an opinion on the fit of your outfit or the shoes that you decided to wear. Why does she have to wear stilettos? Or why do you think men are okay with another man dressing very well? You'll never see a man complaining about a man that is turned up in a better outfit or like put in the effort. They might, pull each other's leg and say, "Arey, kya acha lag raha hai." But we see women saying that, do you really need to wear that outfit for this? There is that difference. We do have that.
I have to add that to that. For men, it works differently. I can't say for men, but I think like that. It shows in their insecurity in their relationship. They won't throw it to the man back, but they'll throw it to the woman in their lives by showing insecurity in their relationship. So it works differently for both of us. Like women will do it, they'll throw shade at women back. But here, in this scenario, what I understand or what I've understood about men till now is like they will show insecurity in their relationship and not to the guy back. So I think that's how it works for them.
And when we have this bro code, like you were talking about, and they are like sticking together, I think we are like even pulling down the women empower movement by having divide between us.
100%.
We do have that if you look at even the patriarchal society, and when we talk about patriarchy in relationships, we generally see the woman of the family laying down rules for the next generation coming in. We generally don't see father-in-laws, commenting on kitchen mein kaun kaam karega, ghungat kaun dalega. It is the women that do it. So do you think that comes from the way we are tuned, or way we are constructed, or that just comes from a fact that it's happened to me, so it has to go on? What do you think?
So, the geek that I am, and because I've had a psychological approach to my PhD in general, this was a big thing.
Yeah.
So they always had books that kind of read that there can be only one alpha in the house.
Yes.
That you cannot have a clash of the titans because there's only one rule maker, one trendsetter, one, sort of like the one who makes the rules basically. But I mean, honestly, at this point at this juncture in life, I think all of us do want to live a certain way, which is our own. And a lot of people say, "Acha, nuclear family hai, joint family. They don't have the strength to cope with the joint family situation." And I think all of these are so passe, these thoughts.
Seriously.
It's like, क्या सोच रहे हो भाई? थोड़ा progressive सोचो okay, I want to live a certain way. Maybe I can be the best that I can be in that way, in that environment, and I can create a better, healthier environment for whoever I'm living with. So it doesn't always have to be some sort of like subliminal, bubbling under kind of like current in the house where there's some upset, like cold shoulderness or whatever, Like there's always something where you're like, you want to be able to go home to a space and not be like, yaar, ghar jana hai, bahar hi jate hai, drink karte hai, kuch, like that, like a home should be,
Peace. True,
Yeah.
but like I said, that we still come to a space where we have rules. We have to be a certain way. Women are put on certain responsibilities in the house, and another woman will have to comment on it. Like she's not living up to her responsibilities. I have never seen like a friend of mine who's a man say that oh, you're working, so how are you managing housework? That question's always come from a woman, and I see that is definitely a way of pulling another woman down, and it's happening in a friendship. So, do you think that we're tuned that way to kind of respond to it?
I think it definitely does come from our thinking, the way we are brought up. But what I feel is definitely is changing with education and exposure. So I'm not married personally, but I have a lot of friends who are married, and I have had this conversation. So a couple of them are entrepreneurs, and I have asked this question: how are you managing, with work and home? Because as a woman, you are expected to have responsibilities in the house. And a lot of them respond saying, you know what, our mother-in-laws went through a lot of shit when they were in their earlier stages. So now they are mindful and they are helping us out in this, where they don't expect us to cook at home, but thoda dhyan de do ghar pe, we'll manage everything else. You work, don't stop your work.
Yeah.
Because more and more people do realize that we do want to work. Why should we give up on our career just because we're married? So I think that switch is definitely coming in terms of the mother-in-law's thinking also changing, because they have been through it. They've been through so much worse that they kind of want to be, we don't want to be our mother-in-laws. We want to be better.
Yes.
So that's what I feel is happening.
I have something to add. So I watch a lot of podcasts from Jyoti Kishori and all these speakers and all of that. So she said very important thing that like you said, the mother-in-law sets the tone in the house, right? कि ये खाना बनेगा, ये खाना बनाएगी, ये होगा. अगर वो बोल दे उठ के कि today the woman of the house is not going to do it. We are going to hire a cook. He's going to do it. This is not our work. She will go to work. I will do my work. I'll read a book. I'll do whatever. If they set the tone right, and then the house will set it right. So that follower and following thing has to go perfectly. And then, like rightfully said, we are in that generational which is changing. So even they are understanding what is to be done and what is to be acquired. So that whole understand. I think by the time we have our children, and it would be in a better situation.
Yeah.
I actually,
No.
I wanted to kind of say that we are all Indian women here. And I've seen it in so many current modern American films as well, that you may have a stay-at-home dad, who's taking, like, I'm literally saying this because it's such a word, and the mom of the house is going out there, going places, entrepreneur, running a company, whatever. And then you will find, even in an American movie, which is a modern movie, that there will be other mums in a school setting who will kind of rib the mother, saying, oh, because you work, you don't spend time with your children. But it's all right. Oh, there's a bake sale coming, but I bet you don't know how to make cookies. That kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's not just an Indian thing.
No, it's not.
It's
universal
a
thing.
universal thing, which I'm so happy that all of us have said is on the shift. They are making more relevant movies now, which are changing the narrative.
Then again comes now that whole sisterhood situation. Like, my sister-in-law is taking too much charge. I'm not able to do it. Some people are happy to do that because they are working out. They're like, oh, she's taking care. I'm going to be out. So it's fine. But if both of them are into the house and they are taking care, then obviously it's going to be a...
Then there is no sisterhood. To be very, like, to call it as it is. Let's just be very honest. We've been very goody two shoes up till now that there's a shift, there's a shift. But I'm just going to talk from my personal experience. The most shade that I've got has been from women.
Yeah.
Anything that I've started to do new, I have heard it from women. Like when I decided and I told people that I'm going to be a pilot, I never had a man question me on how will you do it. But I had so many women that came up to me and said, oh, a man will not marry you because, you have such odd erratic hours. They want stability at home. That was one thing. The other thing was like, oh, you're so dainty. How will you fly a plane? You're thin. And I was like, I'm not going to take the aircraft on my head and fly. But I have to be honest, the shade, the hate, the second guessing in my life has come from women. It has not come from men. And while we are saying, oh, there's a change in everything. There are good people, bad people.
Yes.
But I do have to say, female friendships will sometimes tear you down, and sometimes it's just a bad phase, sometimes it's a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And it does happen. So I really want to know, Aanchal, especially from you, like we've been saying there's been a shift, good things are happening. But have there been like a instance in your life where you can think and you're like, okay, this female friendship is toxic for me?
Thankfully, I don't think I've had a very toxic female friendship. I think maybe in my younger days in like school, college, there were those bitchy moments with each other where one of us bullied the other. But we were so young, we were so immature that now some of those friends are my closest friends. We've like worked through all of that bitchiness that we had towards each other and come out stronger, I would say. But I think I've been very fortunate to not have a moment of a very toxic female friendship. But I'm also a very kind of person where if I feel that someone's giving me toxic energy, I will begin to stay away from that person. If they're going through something, I would ask, is there something I can help with? But if not, then my energy is more important to me. So I would say in that way, I'm very thankful that I haven't had an experience like that.
In fact, I've had an experience like that. So there was this girl, woman, whatever. She kind of started to like a guy who was great friends with me. And then, oh my God, like volcano of emotions for her, because she was like, she would think that I like him or he likes me, and then that's why he's not liking her back. And then, all of that. And I kind of understood that she likes him, and it's fine. But I knew at the same time that the guy doesn't like her back. So now I am the person who's stuck in between, right? Because now I know this reality and I know that reality.
Yeah.
And this person, the girl, was not ready to accept that he doesn't like her back. Now I'm just like, whatever. So then drama. And so then finally she just stopped talking to me, and I'm like, okay, that's fine with me, but then your loss. Your loss. So absolutely your loss. But I feel like I hope she feels better about this guy, and but yeah, they're obviously not together and whatever. So I don't know. But I'm just like, why? Like, why would you give up your friendship for something that didn't even start? You don't even know whether this guy actually likes you or not. She didn't know that, right? I knew that. But like, so silly. So yeah, but I feel like girls have that energy all the time.
Like we just said, like drama. And the minute we said drama, I'm sure nobody thought of men doing drama.
No.
We always think of women doing drama because the drama does stem from there most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Of course, we can't generalize it over the genders.
Very
but
true.
I would have to talk about the majority. And I have an interesting take on things, and I would want to know like your opinion on it, and of course following yours. So we are in this generation where feminism, women empowerment is like in full throttle, and we're really going for it. Now, I do want to know, I sometimes believe that the world has attuned us to this thought that you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to like basically be the master of everything in your life.
No pressure.
No pressure, but you have to just nail everything. And because of that, I've realized we get competitive with another woman. Like I have seen, and I seem to believe that we should celebrate women in every choice that they make. But there are also women that will say, okay, she's working, she's got 2 jobs, she's an entrepreneur, she's a child, I need to be better. And because of that, there is hate, there's jealousy, there's pettiness. How do we address that? And have you had instances in your life where you've had to go through this? And what's your take on this?
Honestly, I've had this within this group of people.
Yes.
I've had people who don't realize that we actually like each other genuinely.
Yes.
And they're like,
There's always a
oh,
question."
there's always a question as to, oh, how are they doing? And there will always be that little lilt in their voice, which basically sounds so so ingenuine.
Yeah, you
Like,
know that.
You know it. You can pick up on that slightly weird undertone where someone is trying to, kind of get the behind the scenes, in-depth inside, ki kuch to hoga kind of situation. And I think they're barking up the wrong tree with at least this bunch. But you're right. There are still those people
Yes.
who will want to basically dig up whatever they can, where they have some reason to kind of say, oh, this makes me feel better because I'm better than her.
The competition.
That
is
competition.
fierce.
Then again, insecurity, no?
Yeah.
You're not comfortable in your skin. That's why you're always like thinking, oh, she's doing better. Yeah, you can do better, and I can also do whatever I'm doing. So it doesn't have to be always a competition.
You know what they say, right? That I think at this level, people are collaborating, not pulling people down. Like no one's competing, they're collaborating.
together.
But how this comes so easily to men? Like we don't see it to be a struggle. When a man opens another business, we'll see the men going for it and like, he's done it and we're so proud of it. And the minute a woman opens a business,
Oh, yeah.
how did she do it? How is she managing it?
Where's
The
the money
narrative
coming
changes.
from?
And
husband financing it.
and again, this is coming from women who've been through what I have been through, what you've been through. As an entrepreneur, it can get frustrating. But why is it the women? Why are our friendships? Why are we saying your loss? To meri life se nikal jao. Why are we not addressing the crux of the problem that yes, there is insecurity in female friendships, and we keep saying, "हाँ, सब ठीक हो रहा है, सब अच्छा हो रहा है," but जो हो भी रहा है, हम उसको why are we brushing it
Under
under
the
the rug as if it's not a problem, but we are changing? It is a problem.
It is a problem in certain aspects, but then it's also how you deal with it. At one point, you have to pick your battles, right? You can't keep fighting with every second person and being like, okay, no, this is what I believe in, and you have to follow it. Because at points when you keep going that way, you're just going to frustrate yourself. Like we said, you don't get along with every single person. So you have to find the people you do get along with. So I feel the people that I do get along with, if they are doing shit and they are my female friends, I will call them out on it and they will call me out on it. But if it's coming from someone I don't know or I don't have a relation with, I can't keep going and fighting with them over it and trying to change their thinking. And that's where I feel like we need to pick our battles. It comes, for me, it's from that space.
But is it okay to just brush it off under the rug and say it is what it is and just it's not my problem?
No one's saying it's not my problem, but the problem is like how do you change something which is so like deep rooted? You can do that for your child, or you can do it in your house, or you can do it for your house help, explain her. Like you can start from these things, but then beyond that, how much can you? Yeah, you can have a word with all your female friends and be like, are you also facing this? Or, but then beyond that, you can't like explain that to everyone. That's why I said in the beginning as well. So there are days when I'm not reacting to a comment, and then there are days when I'm just like, you're going to get it from all the 10 days that I did not react, So it depends. And then it depends on what mood that they're catching you on. Like sometimes I lose my shit when I'm driving. So, and it's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, but someone needs to tell somebody, right? Like it's never ending otherwise. So then there are those days you're like, listen, you're going to listen to me today. So like she said, you choose your battles, you also choose your days, right? Because every day you cannot like deal with it.
But do we also choose the difficult conversations? Like if you see the narrative of our conversation is just being, rather than saying, yes, there is a problem, yes, this is happening, yes, I do have an issue with it. We've also been saying that we just cut the toxic people off, we don't pick our battles. Is it important to make it part of our conversation with people that, there is a difference in male friendships and female friendships, and the way and I think it's society that's pitted us. It's not something that we are born with. It's of course the construct around us that's put it.
100%.
But are we addressing it? Are we speaking about it as much as we should?
I think we are not. Irisha, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I think we all agree on the fact that we've heard so often that these kitty party groups, it comes with such a bad name that they must be, probably having the same old conversations and all of that stuff. I think if we can change the way we talk within our groups, within our safe spaces. That's a great way to begin, because then you know that these people are not going to be judging you right off the bat, because this is your chosen bunch, chosen people, and they're going to actually give you the time of day, listen to what you have to say, have an open dialogue where you're actually exchanging ideas about the fact that what is your experience, have you had this happen to you, and you never know what you might learn from what someone else has gone through. And I think it's necessary to be able to have these conversations and not just kind of be like, ये तो ऐसा ही है, मतलब ऐसे ही रहेगा. वो तो, I mean, we are having intelligent conversations here because, we'd like to think that we're intelligent people. And I think we are. Because we're having these conversations.
Yeah, we're addressing it.
We're addressing it. I think, like you all said, it's necessary to start talking about it, not in an attacking kind of way, because immediately people will shut down and withdraw. Have a safe space conversation कि ये problem है, कुछ कर सकते हैं इसके बारे में, like, is there something we can make better starting with us? And then it can sort of have that dominoes effect with other people who are beyond the safe space, because I'm sure that we all have other friends as well in other groups, and that conversation can then start to become a bigger conversation.
Okay, I have an interesting question. I'd like all of you all to answer it. Controversial a little bit, but do you think, at least in growing up years, as teenagers and adolescents, do women compete with one another for male attention?
Oh, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And why are
I
we
think
being-
I'm seeing that in adulthood as well. Not just, like even, like no shade, but even in the later age, they are still going for that. I'm like, why? Like, have your self-confidence, have your, that tick mark that you need from the other person, give it to yourself. And that would take you to places. But I guess, again, it's so conditioned in their minds that, only if a guy tells you that, then it's a correct thing.
Validation.
So I guess it's tough. But I feel like just give yourself that tick mark that you're fine, and then you're fine.
Your opinion on this, Irisha?
I have quite a few.
I would love to know this. The more interesting ones we would like to hear first.
Fair enough. Okay, so I think the tighter dresses, the higher heels, the redder lipsticks are not only for the men.
Yes.
It's for the women to be able to kind of be like, I got that man.
Yeah.
Like, and
over that girl,
or over that girl.
Yeah.
And I do think that the men are also responsible for this, because let's be honest, everybody likes the attention.
Yeah. Very true.
And some people may like it for the wrong reasons, because they're like, oh yes, and we see all these rap videos where all of the men are like, ladies, yes. And all these ladies are like, yes, I have no self-respect. And so I'm thinking that if that's the idea still, I mean,
Some people do have that idea.
Still. So if the women in these videos, which are still becoming chart toppers and stuff, where that idea is still insinuating in everybody's minds that, hey, if I dress a certain way, he'll look at me
over her.
Definitely. And if I say certain things, or it's not even the say, it's more visual. More than anything else. Like, be it a video we see, be it a person we see at a party, or be it whatever, it's always like, the first thing is visual. And then you'll give them the benefit of doubt if you have a conversation with someone. But we're all to blame, huh?
True. Okay, Aanchal, question for you. Since we are talking on this parameter that, we're doing it for the attention, or we're competing with one another, I've seen when, a guy will come back and say, oh, I'm dating this one or dating that one, whether it's your third one, fourth one, the men are all like, yeah, bro, amazing, we're so happy you're doing this. And if a woman's on her second or a third boyfriend, you are like instinctively judgmental. And the judgment comes immediately from, but the man you marry will not like it. And it'll again come from women.
Wow.
So, what do we do about that?
Probably genetically in my head is like I'm very super strong, and I'm just like, who? No way, is no one's questioning me on anything. Like she said, she was questioning herself. I wouldn't do that. I would be like, bro, your problem. Like, no chance I'm questioning myself. No, but she's right. It comes through that, also my parents, thanks to them, like, because they gave such great exposure and they never had that question in their mind that, oh, why? So then that whole shift happens. I guess slowly the parents have to like it all comes down to parents. I don't know why. For me, it's the parents. Yeah, it's the parents. It's the parents. They need to like give the child the confidence that they deserve, open space to speak their mind, open space to even commit mistakes and own up to them. And when you do that, you have an experience that will lead you to a better life and choose your path correctly. So everything falls down to like that open space of like, saying that, hey, I did this, I made a mistake. Okay, now what?
So do you think that this competitiveness in female friendships stems from the way parents have brought up men differently and women differently?
Yes, I was just gonna say that. And I come from a joint family, and my aunt was part of the Nizam's family in like Hyderabad. So I'm very used to her saying, "Sit like a lady, walk like a lady, walk straight." In fact, when I was a kid, she used to put a book on my head, right, and say that walk straight, do this, do that, so that you will eventually, you've always had ideals set. And women are so used to hearing this that they'll impose it on all other women. Like it's a natural imposition which they think is normal, it's normalized,
Yeah.
which is a little disconcerting, because you're like, okay, yes, I know that it's part of how we've been brought up. And a lot of people say, that half of the things that we're dealing with, and everybody is subject to having a little bit of therapy, it comes from the way that you've been brought up, honestly. And I don't want to say that it's our parents' fault, because they did the best that they could.
Yes.
In most cases. But I think it's such a generational thing that if your parents are unhealed, that trauma will then go further on and further on and further on.
No, but then, like, my mom always told me this thing that she decided that I will not give my child that. I will give them the open space.
Yeah.
So when you turn a parent, you have to decide in your head that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Even when you become a mother-in-law,
Yeah.
like what we were
Yeah.
discussing, you have to decide that, okay, I won't
Yeah.
do that for my daughter-in-law. I will change that. Yeah.
I actually told my husband this, and because we were having something going on in the family, and I actually turned around and told him that, you remind me of this saying, it ran in my family until it ran into me.
Exactly.
So you break the cycle,
Yes.
you do. But even though we are breaking the cycle, we are breaking stereotypes, I have also seen that there's this little entitlement in women where they feel it's okay to judge another woman and create that toxic environment. They take that liberty, they take that freedom to go ahead and speak their mind. I think we've become so, I would say, forward with feminism that we feel that bringing another person down and having a comment on that person is my opinion, it's freedom of speech, and it's feminism. So that is also a different branch that I think we are taking on and calling it shift and change. So it is toxic. And how do we deal with that? I mean, these are very opinionated women, and you cannot go and tell them, no, that's wrong. You can't do this. So how do we take that on?
It's funny you should look at me for this, because when you asked this question, I was stumped. I didn't have any immediate answer, because I'm
Yes.
thinking to myself, really, what do we do?
Yeah.
What do we do? Like, how do we call them out then and there? Because yes, we do that.
Yes.
It doesn't always go very well.
Exactly.
Because some
backfires.
people are not willing. So I
Yes.
think that willingness to change, the
Yes.
willingness to open up, to listen to somebody else's point of view and be like, okay, I have this new information, I will process it, and maybe then I can make a shift with the way that I think and the things that I believe, or change my belief system because that's a very strong thing that's built after a very long time.
But I want to add to that, to your question. So what happens, you know, I have noticed it personally. As soon as women come in authority, their behavior in general changes at workplaces for other women as well. At workplace itself, like as soon as they are, say, there is a team hierarchy and she's on top, for example, and her behavior, she's come through this only, right? But her behavior immediately with other counterparts would change. So I don't know how what is the functionality of that, but it's there, like that shift.
So picking up on what you said, like it's very weird. We say that like they've gone through the same process, they've had the same obstacles, and then I realized that once you reach a place where you're able to help, rather than supporting the other woman,
they make it
you're
more
tearing
tough
tearing the person
Yes.
down. I have realized that so often that, you know, a woman's going to go through everything and then probably run her own business and then make it difficult for the woman even more. And is this something that we just believe that we have to do because we've had it difficult? Will it build character in the other woman that if we make it more difficult to the other person?
It comes back to that same thing, and you have to decide as a person that you won't do that to the other person.
Yeah.
You will help them. You will teach them what you learned in the process. But no one's ready to do that. But I think men are able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, they are able to tell them through their experience, bro, ये मत कर, इसमें ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं है, ये ऐसा है. They are able
the
to
advice
do that.
and
Yeah.
I think it's so hard for us to actually come into a place of authority in the first place,
I guess that is why.
where you feel like, oh, I have put in my blood, sweat and tears.
You also do it.
You need to do the same thing as well. Same
Mother-in-law,
thing.
daughter-in-law concept.
Same. Where it feels like you will go through the same ring of fire like I did.
Yeah.
So when you come to a place where you can make a change, a lot of people decide not to because they're like, I think this made me who I am,
And you
wala
need to build
perspective.
It could also come from a place of fear, right? That they don't want to teach and pass it along because what if the person below them gets better and surpasses them?
Wahi na, that's
That is
exactly.
also,
See this in men. We just don't see that. And if you're talking about shift, we're talking about change, we're talking about women empowerment. Don't you think this is empowering another woman? That encouraging another woman? Like when I used to fly, you know, I had like around 400 people in university and we were 3-4 girls, and I would always see the men kind of covering up for the man, and you know, like, theek hai, you know, I'll fly for you, you know, you take a rest, or I'll help you out, I'll do this. And you would always see a woman in the side like, I have to study for myself and I have to do this for myself. We do see that happening, and we don't help another woman out. And when we're talking about sisterhood and we're talking about empowerment, how is this empowerment? How are we on the right track? How are we on the right path if this is what we are leading to in the name of women empowerment?
So for me, I feel I truly believe in women empowerment. I have an entirely women-run organization, and I am trying to do it in that sense in my small bit or way as well. Try and encourage more women entrepreneurs, try and support other women entrepreneurs in that sense. But I think it's definitely conversations that we need to constantly have and address, even if it's a senior that you're working in an organization, address it and have that conversation openly. Because if you don't have those difficult conversations, you're not going to get anywhere.
I would like to know from you, since you said you're like a woman-run organization.
Yeah.
How would you like to change the perspective of people or agree to it, where people say women can't work together without drama? And I've heard it so.
I think you can, at least in my small team, we definitely love working together. And recently we had a job opening and I was open to hiring a man, but deep down I was kind of hoping that I find the right girl for the job. So I think it comes from also creating the correct work environment, encouraging each other, helping each other. Like if you come to my kitchen, you will always hear music on. So that's one of the positive things that we try and do, like, okay, let's have fun while we're working. Let's be serious about our work, of course, but let's also try and make it a lively environment. When we work on new menus, I like having like my team come and tell me, okay, you know, why don't we try this? You come up with the recipe and I'll take a back step and be like, okay, you all come up with this. So those are little things that I try in that sense. If I hear a friend of mine is a woman entrepreneur, I'll always go buy something and be like, okay, let's try and encourage, let's support each other.
We try to do that.
And the little things that we can do for each other. In a workspace organization, I'm not very sure. In a more corporate, I haven't had that experience, so I wouldn't know. But that's the small things we try and do at Red.
Hi everyone, this is Chahat, and we had a very interesting conversation today on female friendships. We heard the good, bad, and the ugly, and we are sure to change your perception on it. So definitely subscribe, like, and follow What is Aap Kai Bolta, and let's cha cha. See you soon.